Everyone, it's Jessie, and I am here to talk about how you can optimize your resume in order to hopefully land that next job. And no, this video is not going to talk about white wording or trying to trick ATS, which is the applicant tracking software. That's basically the filtration software that a lot of employers use to filter out resumes. I'm going to be talking about real tips that can really help you and not gimmicks. The first thing that you probably need to include if it's not there or clean up if it is there is a summary at the top of your resume. So at the very, very top, have your header, which, includes your name. It includes the city and state that you're in. It doesn't need to include your whole address, so don't do that. And of course, your email address needs to have that. Possibly your LinkedIn profile URL if you want to do that. You want to make sure that below the heading, you have a summary section. And in the summary section, please don't say the honest to God, the stupid mumbo jumbo that I see all the time, which is my objective. Like, don't put objective. Don't label the summary objective. Don't do that.
My objective is to work in a fast-paced environment where I can be part of a team and where I can grow my career.
Okay, that's what everybody wants. And you need to say something that is not just the, it may as well not be there. I also recommend that you don't say I'm detail oriented because usually people like misspell that, like they don't include the hyphen that they should be including. And then that shows me that they're not actually detail oriented, or there's going to be a typo on your resume. You can try to make this thing perfect and that's fine. But when somebody says they are detail oriented and they have problems with their resume, how able are you to reflect upon your own self and your own work? Whereas if you never had that in your summary, then I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't be so judgmental. It would get a pass from me. So in your summary, you want to include the title of the job that you are gunning for. If you want to have just summary there, bolded, underlined, whatever you want to do, you can do that. But what you can do instead is you can have the exact title of the thing that you're going to be applying to. So for example, you can say, senior art director, have that be your summary. And under that, you have a paragraph, but it's a small paragraph, 2 sentences maximum. Even if you have never been a senior art director, let's just say you've been a junior art director. Well, you can talk about your experience and it's clear from the viewer of the resume that that is the job that you are going after. In the 2 sentences in your summary, give them a hero story. Talk about something that you did at a prior job that is quantifiable. What does quantifiable mean? It means tied to numbers, something that can be measured in numbers, whether it's, at such and such company, I was able to increase profit margins by 3 to 5% over the course of 4 months at whatever organization that I was with. So if you can quantify anything, put it there in the summary. You can also bullet point it down below that specific prior experience. That's fine. But try to put that in the summary so they see it right away. But what I'm saying, in case you're not catching it, is to be specific in your summary. And it's not just saying like, I saved money, I increased profits, I reduced the percentage of complaints. It's not just to say it for the sake of saying it. It's that I will be a great fit for the senior whatever position because at my last job, I was able to do this. So you want to tie the thing that they're interested in the job that you're going for with your past experience. Now, let's say you don't have any quantifiable experience. When I say hero story, and this is something that I learned straight from the one, the only Liz Ryan. And if you are not following her, you need to do that for your life. Basically, you want to set yourself up and explain like at my last firm or my last company, I took the initiative to ensure that these processes were delivered timely, or because I saved a relationship with this client by taking the initiative to communicate with them about a problem that we were having before they saw the problem existed. So it could be anything. It could be anything where you are painting the picture that you took initiative. Employers want people who can take initiative. They want people who are going to help them do a better job seamlessly. They want people who are going to help solve their problems. They want people who are going to make their own lives easier. So you need to show in that paragraph how you can do that by pointing to things that you have done in your past volunteer work or whatever that's going to show exactly like that you're the right person for that job. Second, I have seen resumes span 6 pages. Definitely do not submit a 6-page resume that shows that you do not have the skills to be concise, that brevity is not your forte, and that you're going to take a lot more of that hiring manager's or, the employer's time in explaining unnecessary crap. Get that resume down to 1 page, or if you really have a lot of juicy experience that just can't be missed, 2 pages. That is the absolute maximum. The average resume is viewed between 6 and 8 seconds. Think about that, 6 and 8 seconds. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, like before you submit this, is zoom out of the thing. I mean, whether you're old school analog and want to print it on paper and actually hold it out in front of you, okay. But otherwise, do what everybody else does. Zoom out so that you can look and see that it's aesthetically making sense, that it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye and beautiful and organized. This is your signal to whoever's going to be looking at your resume that it's not going to be a giant cluster. It's showing the viewer that you're organized instead of you just saying, oh, I'm an organized person. It doesn't matter what people think about themselves. You have to, prove it, and actually providing an organized, beautiful resume is going to be very helpful. I personally think it's a bit gauche to include a photo on a resume. I am highly, highly, highly against it. If people want to see your photo, they're going to go to your LinkedIn profile or they're going to look on any of your social media accounts. With that being said, clean up your social media accounts. You don't want to be looking all like some sort of unprofessional douchebag. You want to come across as a halfway professional person. And even if it's on like your Insta or your TikTok, it's not like you have to be wearing a business suit. It's not like you have to treat every social account like it's your LinkedIn account. You don't have to do that. But you don't want to be showing that in your personal life you are irresponsible or reckless, and because they don't want that kind of personality in charge of stuff. It's fine to have fun. A lot of people love when they see that people are having fun and doing their thing, but people who do nothing but complain on their socials, that's a big giant red flag. So I'm a big fan of putting a link to your LinkedIn profile. And if you don't have one, build one. Most people have one, but if you don't have one, lean in and do it. It's very convenient for a lot of employers just to be able to look that up. And you might be thinking, well, why do I need a LinkedIn and a resume? Well, I think it's stupid too. I do. I think it's stupid too, but that's the name of the game and that's why we're here. Do not include your high school experience. A resume does not have to be like a truth dump of every single thing that you have done. I was a waitress for 10 years before I came along. Do you think that waiting tables ever enters on my resume? Like, no, it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter. If I wanted that to be considered, I would add it. But a resume doesn't have to be a dump. It's like, think when you make your own business card, you are creating it. You are tailoring it to what it is that you're wanting. I'm definitely not saying to lie. Don't lie on your resume, because then you could easily get fired for that once you're hired, and that would not be good. And you earn a really terrible reputation while you're at it. But you want to mold the resume to fit your needs. And nobody cares what high school you went to. So under education, do not put the high school that you went to. I would rather see a resume that completely omits the education section than to include an education section where the only thing you're putting in is your high school. Don't do that. Just skip the education section altogether if that's the boat that you're in. And just as a little added bonus, if people are worried about gaps in your resume, first of all, fewer and fewer employers are caring about that. They do like to see that somebody can stick with it and that your prior experience is going to involve jobs where you were there for longer than a few months at a time, because basically employers don't want to invest in you if you're just going to like bail, because training employees is expensive and it's time consuming. A really sweet spot is a minimum of 2 years. I think that a lot of employers still want to see that. But if you're in tech, that's a different thing, because people do tend to bounce more often than that, and that's expected. So if you're in a field where it's expected you're going to change careers more often, then okay, fine. Try to see if you can explain away any gaps in your resume, or if there's a reason why you had a short stint at a place, you explain that in a cover letter. So if a cover letter is optional and your resume is a little bit wonky, then take the option to draft a cover letter, explain whatever reason it is. It doesn't really matter as long as you are not regurgitating the resume in a cover letter. The point of a cover letter is not to regurgitate the resume. The point of a cover letter is to fill in the gaps and answer any questions that a hiring manager might have if there are any irregularities in your resume. But again, don't worry too much about a gap, because a couple of gaps here and there, especially if it's short, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Honestly, most employers don't care anymore. Those are today's tips on how to best set yourself up for success when drafting your resume. You can always go to ChatGPT too. And if you already have a LinkedIn profile, just put in your URL and say, hey, in consideration of my LinkedIn profile, and here's the link, draft me a resume. And never, ever use that as your final draft. Just use it as a jumping off point, and that can help you too. Incorporate some of the tips that I've gone over with you today, and then that should really set you up fairly nicely. Drop a like, drop a comment or a question. If you want me to cover something, let me know. I'll see if I can make a video about that. And subscribe if you haven't already done so. This is a new channel, so I would really appreciate the love and the support. It will help me reach more people just like you to step into your next career or to get that next job. I will see you in the next one. Until then, ciao.